Last time you guys got to meet with Trevin Twisty Pond from the Authors of Steel and ordered orrery that is totally going to be displayed in the middle of the Quiver Sand Tavern before seeing an angry mob outside of the Quiver Sand Tavern and dispersing them through Saza's amazing oratory skills. So you guys have a few down moments before you move on to your next thing if you want to discuss your plans with each other.
So the Kingsdale and Saza came in the front.
Yes.
Em is in the main room, like sitting at a table shuffling cards. She came in the back. She did not stick around for the mob.
Yeah, I think Saza goes into like a general like set up mode, cleaning glasses, making sure like we're ready for when people come in.
As Saza walks in, you hear a little Laura go, Em's been here the whole time. She has been nothing but an exemplary employee. And she, like, winks at you.
Who are you trying to fool?
No one. She's been here the whole time and she get her full pay.
Em's been with me the whole time.
Oh, okay. Then she hasn't been. No. She's been out and about. She just snuck in like a rat. Don't worry. I like rats. She winks at you again.
Em rolls her eyes at her.
Is that a good roll your eyes or a bad roll your eyes?
Bad if you keep being obvious about your lies.
Do you like a bad girl?
Kingsdale's gonna go behind the bar and get like 3 glasses and, pour whiskey in all 3 of them, and slide them across to the other 2 of them.
Little Laura picks one up.
Are you bartending now?
I am a man of many skills. Of many professions. I have the ability to pour whiskey into a glass, which I believe is all that a bartender does.
Rude.
But Lil Lauren comes up, can I try out some of your other skills? I want to see how good you can stake me.
We need to find a conference room that they are not allowed in.
Making an office is on my list of to-dos.
I would say we could meet in my basement, however, the decorating in there is utilitarian at the moment.
So that's why you want the Ori.
I was going to say, you don't practice your interior decorating in your own place first?
I do not need to practice. I am already quite skilled. However, I am at this moment kind of at a loss as to what the next step might be, for I was convinced that we would find someone who had crafted metallic claws that we used in the murder, and we have yet to do so.
Are you method acting right now?
What do you mean?
He's pouring stuff.
Method. You've got your coffee thing, your water. And
yeah, I'm using my AeroPress.
Yeah, it's
It's not whiskey, so it's not method acting.
You have to do prop work, is what you're telling me. It's okay. I have to do prop work. I have to do prop work too. That's why I have my mug.
Right.
Speaking of prop work, bam.
It's a very pretty fan that you have, though.
It's so fun. It's very fun. Okay, before I made fun of you because I was laughing at you, what did you say?
What I was saying was I was expecting to find the claws. The claws, and did not, and for that I am surprised.
Is there any possibility that they're organic in nature? That they're not actually crafted?
It is possible, certainly, but it is just not... It is not what my hunch currently tells me. Not that that is necessarily the best evidence to go by, but currently my assumption is that it is not organic, but it very well could be.
I guess with the claw marks combined with the transformation enhancing abilities of the flower makes me think werewolves. I don't know much about the werewolves around here, if there's a clan, but it might be worth talking to them. I don't really know what our lead-in is there, but...
Certainly not that I am a hunter and skilled at fighting with them, but...
Well, we also have the Shadow Emporium that Mr. Twisty Pond mentioned as an that could be a place where we could find a weapon that you're looking for.
That is true.
If it was shipped in?
Possibly. I do not know. Did not give me that feeling that it was what we are looking for. I might suggest that we go and visit his home and see if there is perhaps something strange there.
I could probably get something from there.
Certainly you probably could. But also the werewolves are a very good point. It is probably we are past due speaking with them anyways.
Well, I don't know. They probably don't live in town, so maybe we save that for a different day.
That is a reasonable idea. There is always tomorrow at the moment.
Yes, I certainly need to be here tonight. I would like to hear what people around the town are saying about both the murder and the quiver sand. Maybe we can learn something from the gossip.
I believe it would be valuable for both of us to be here, seeing as the threats that have been made might come to fruition at night.
I agree. It's always valuable when you're here, Kingsdale.
I'm a lucrative card player. I know it's valuable when I'm here.
Who else can I cheat to get all my extra money for them?
We are working as a team. You must seem to be doing well for others to be enticed.
I was going to go talk to Sarah a bit more. I imagine she hasn't told me everything, particularly why she came to me at all, if there's a sheriff in town.
Well, and also there's, you could find out from her. I don't know exactly what she knows about Mr. Hooper. I don't know exactly what she knows about Mr. Hooper other than the fact that he was a bad manager. But there's always a possibility that, I don't know, a man who is not good at being around his peers was being a braggart and talking about things in his life that maybe would have led him to being killed. Deals that he got into, something, I don't know. There might be something that, like you said, she hasn't told us.
So if we go to his house first, do that now, that might give me a little bit more when I go off to see Sarah.
I believe this sounds like a intelligent plan, one that might yield wonderful fruits that might move us forward in our endeavors.
Cheers to that. And she raises her glass.
Yes, cheers. What are we doing?
Kingsdale takes the cup out of his hand, drinks both of them.
You are staying here. I will be back in a few hours to get this place opened up for tonight.
Excellent. I didn't want to go anywhere anyway. That sounds like what you're doing is work, and I specifically don't want to do any of that. Me neither.
That's what I figured.
Alright, so you guys, once again, head out of town to the mining annex, addition, I don't know what I'm calling this yet.
Campus.
We're in the Wild West. I can do whatever I want. You guys head up the long path, the several miles, up the mountain into the mining encampment.
Oh, his house is up there?
You don't know where his house is. But yes.
How do we not know where
it's up there?
Oh,
okay.
Wouldn't we? I mean, we had to know because we're going there, right? I thought it was up there.
It's up there.
Okay.
The answer is yes. You check in and are pointed to, there is the giant boarding house where most of the miners live. And then to the side, there's a small area of small single home log cabins. Having talked with Sarah, she gave you, pointed out which one it was to you, but she was busy, gave you, a brief, third house on the left. As you arrive there, it is still within the forest. There's a lot of felled trees around. There's a clearing where they cut down all these trees to make these log cabins. You get the key, unlock the door, and push your way in. It's a small one-room log cabin. It is pretty close to the boarding house, but separated enough that he would not be disturbed if people were getting rowdy or drunk at night. him having his own place speaks volumes of how he was regarded in the company. Most people are in the boarding house. Him having its own separate unit that is furnished and they have to heat in the winter is a meaningful thing. As you walk in, papers are strewn all over the floor. You see sacks of food cut open and poured out as if someone was turning the place over looking for something. The furniture seems to be mostly undamaged, and the room still smells fresh, leading you to believe that this was an orderly man, even if the room that you have entered is anything but. There's a fireplace with a small little fire and like a little hook for cooking, and then he has a bed and a desk, and that's about it, and it's a pretty small place.
So wait, did you say that it looks like it's been tossed over, though? Like it's messy?
Yes.
Would it make sense for me to do my let it out move to sniff out a secret stash?
Ooh.
It's like my one investigation move that I can do, and if this is already like a picked over place, I'm thinking that might not be a bad idea.
I like that.
Then I think I will...
roll with spirit.
Spirit 0, okay. Nah, that's a 4.
Oh no, you take corruption.
So, I believe I already took corruption too, so we're just gonna continue adding corruption.
Like a good demon.
Yep.
Like a good player, gives her more moves. So you have this sense of being able to figure out where people hide things, almost like a sixth sense you have where it's just a natural part of you. And as you try to reach out, you're just plagued by all these concerns, like, what if I never get the tavern up and running properly? What if I don't figure out the budget? What if people come back while I'm gone? Like, can Liluran and Lilura fend for themselves, or are they just going to be dumb about it until it hurts them? And you realize it's really hard for you to put aside your feelings and search this out in this moment.
Is it like a sudden, like, feeling that comes over? Or is it like, this is just what I'm worrying about right now?
It's just what you're worrying about.
Okay.
You're not like, it's not like supernaturally you're anxious now. It was just more like...
Narrative reason for failure.
You know when you try to focus on something and you just like, your mind keeps spiraling off into other thoughts?
Yeah.
Kind of that thing.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I was gonna pick up the papers and show them to Kingsdale and say, what do you make of these?
I am unsure and concerned that we are behind the punch, since this place already seems to be ransacked, as it were. It makes me wonder if maybe we should have come here first, or if this was done before he perished.
Zach, can Kingsdale make sense of the sheets of paper? Like, what's on them?
General ledgers and quarterly reports or like daily reports of the mine.
Any mention of flowers?
No. It is.
But it's ledgers.
It's ledgers for the mining company.
Okay. If it's financials, can I like get something out of that?
It is not financials. It is more quantity reports of what they're doing.
So how much they got, like towards a quota.
So you look at this. I'll describe this better. So you pick up a page, and they all seem to be similar in nature. On one side is a list of 36 names. On the top it's a spreadsheet of sorts. The top is listed different minerals and how much quantity each of these people mined during that day. As you flip through each sheet, it seems exacting how much is written down. Things are cataloged to the ounce when there are large poundages of metal being moved. As you flip through some other papers, you can see some reports of shipment reports, like we shipped this much out from shift 1 sent X amount of metal on the train at this time on this day. But it all seems to be company ledgers.
Okay.
Or company information.
Is there anything... Did he have anything by his bed that seemed sentimental?
That's an interesting question.
I'm looking for, did he have a picture of a sweetheart? Did he have, like, a love letter? Did he have a picture of a dog, his kid, sisters, brother?
He did not, I will say.
Kingsdale is going to leave, but what he wants to do is just walk outside and try to find if there's like a shift getting off from the mines or just like any of them sitting around eating beans or something like that.
Okay, I'll get back to you. Let's finish up in the building.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's completely fine, Kingsdale. I'll come back to you in a second. Em and Saza, are you doing anything else in the room?
What else is in this house? You said there's...
A bed, a desk, papers on the floor, food bags ripped open and dumped out.
Can I check for, like, a loose floorboard? I guess, no, that Saza would have gotten that from her, like, secret stash
She
thing.
didn't find anything because she failed.
Okay.
Can I ask one real quick question? The ripped open food bags, 4 claw marks?
Oh.
Yes, they would be in claw marks.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now Kingsdale leaves.
I will also say, as Kingsdale's walking around, you look at the windows and the doors, and you see claw marks around that match the pattern of what was on his body.
Can I use my psychometry on the bags that have been ripped open with claw marks?
Yes.
Okay. Gosh, dang it, these dice suck. Oh, phew, that's a 7. Okay, thank goodness.
What's your spirit? Is it like a 2?
It's a 2, yeah. What secrets or mysteries has this object been privy to?
It's sometimes weird picking something so mundane to get these readings from. Because on the one hand, it gives you a very accurate look into someone's life on the day-to-day. On the other hand, it just is something that sits there, unmoving, unshakable for a long time. And to an extent, that can be overwhelming, making it hard to grasp anything of real value out of what it does. But as you are a bag of beans sitting in Peter Hooper's home, you see days flip by where, on repeat, you see him write it, you see him do his ledgers, put that away, write in a journal, stuff it into his mattress. On repeat, just every day, he takes notes on what he's doing in his you just see every day, like he makes the same food, he leaves, he comes back at what you perceive to be the same time, he fills out ledgers for 4 hours, he writes in his journal for half an hour, stuff it in his bed, goes to sleep, eats beans, goes to work, writes in his ledgers, every day for months on end. He seems to be someone of very much routine. And then you snap back after what feels like an eternity.
Can I go to his mattress? Is it disturbed?
It is not.
Can I reach under it and find a journal?
You can.
So M pulls it out and sees like kind of pages upon pages of words, I assume.
Mm-hmm. What you see is a small, neat handwriting. The lines are very uniform. His letters seem to be very well crafted. Not that they're easy to read, but each letter, like each A, is the same shape. It looks very precise. Each day seems to take 1 page, and he ends at the same point every day. Without looking more specifically at it, you can see, flipping through quickly, you can see there is a note, a page for every day. He says about the same amount of words every day.
Mm-hmm. M is gonna... So Kingsdale has left, right? Saza's still in the room.
Yes.
Okay. M is gonna bring it over to Saza and ask her, I found this. See anything that catches your eye? She kind of holds it open.
I'll take a look. And yeah, Saza will take it and flip through.
So quickly flipping through, it's a lot of just like day-to-day mundanity. You do get a better picture of his character from his perspective. He is someone who is dedicated to the mining company. He is very much a true believer of their cause. You don't really get a full picture of what that is other than to like grow in strength and power, and like it's like there's vagaries listed to that, but he fully has drunk the Kool-Aid of this group. I will say, you know that Joseph Wagner is the leader. He is like in charge of the company. And then his right-hand man is Eugene Fleming. I'm putting all the names in the chat as well.
Uh-huh.
And then the person, like the muscle of the operation, or, you know, like the personnel kind of person, is Virginia Sawyer.
So she's the one who'd hire people?
She seems to be higher up. She's like HR more so, like head of all HR. Because,
I don't know what that means in this context.
Is she the person who would do like a beat down on someone if they were stepping out of line?
Yeah. Yeah. She's the one who keeps everyone in line. She's like a morale officer.
Wild West HR, the person that beats you if you're out of line. Love it.
That sounds about right, honestly.
I think she would be the bosun if we were on a ship.
Okay.
Eugene would be the first mate.
Yeah.
Virginia would be the bosun.
Okay.
Sarah is someone who is like very far down the food chain comparatively, you know.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
This might be weird because it's a journal. But could I roll to figure someone out
Ooh.
and pull some of the questions from that?
Oh, that's kind of a fun idea.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that a lot. Look at you guys coming up with great ideas all around tonight.
I need an excuse to use mind because it's my best skill.
I do appreciate that you each have a best skill that is different than the others.
Yeah.
Mine's definitely not mind.
Because you're blood, right, Kingsdale?
Okay, so it's an 8, which I understand is a difficult thing to do with a journal. So I'll let you decide. I was going to suggest, so on a hit, ask 2. On a 7 to 9, they ask one of you as well. If you have something that the company wants to ask me, or if you just want me to ask one question, maybe that could be our compromise for getting a 7 to 9.
Okay, I know what's going to happen. I have something bad that's going to happen to you, but...
Yep. But I can still have my 2 questions.
Yep, you have your 2 questions.
Okay. So I definitely want to ask, what does this character worry is going to happen? And I think I would also ask, what is he hoping to get from the company?
Okay, so his biggest worry is being reprimanded or passed over because of his subordinates' lack of dedication. He is someone who seems almost zealous in his pursuit of company objectives, and he does not want any of the minors underneath him to be the reason that he is not promoted in this organization.
Okay.
What he is hoping to get is that he has found flowers, which he thinks will be of great interest to those higher up, and he is hoping to get to be promoted of a higher status mechanically.
Yeah.
In this organization.
Okay. So after flipping through, Saza will make sure that she'll tell M all of the names and their positions based on what she got. And she'll mention she'll tell her what he's worried about. I also found a reference to the flowers. It appears that he found them, and he was hoping that they would be able to give him some sort of status, and possibly give him a promotion to a higher position in the company. Very into this company.
So the question is, did he ever make that proposal to them? Do they know about the flowers yet?
The dates of him finding the flowers and saying, like, I'm going to talk to them soon was yesterday.
Okay.
So the answer to that is no, presumably.
So 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Sunday he wrote the note being like, I found the flowers, I know where they are, and there's like a map to where they are.
Yes.
Okay.
Monday morning, like at 6 a.m. he was killed. You're on Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
In this journal where it says he found the flowers, does he talk about how difficult it was to get them? Did he talk about like, I just found them, la-di-da? Or was it like, I ran into some fae, but they didn't find me, or like anything like that?
Oh, yeah, because the fae said that he like had a way of sneaking in.
He does not mention taking them, like how hard they were to get. It was kind of I'm going to get some tomorrow and bring them, and then tomorrow being the day he died.
Okay, so he didn't walk into the forest. He walked into the forest empty-handed. He was coming back with the flowers.
So yeah, like the note that you have of he's like, I found them is like he found where they were located and knew how to get there. He had not left with the flowers at that point, as far as you were able to tell.
Got it.
The time he left with the flowers is the time that he died.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna guess this is a moot point, but I definitely do a cursory look over the room. There's not even a hint of a petal anywhere.
No, there's not.
Okay. M is gonna pocket that journal. It is not staying here.
So M heads out, and as Saza, as you're turning to leave, you hear a voice in your head, which sounds to us like, like this person kept anonymous kind of voice in your head.
That distorted, deep voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are you, and what are you worried is going to happen, leaving well enough alone?
Can I respond to you?
Yes, I can hear you. You can also think it.
I would say she responded thinking, not out loud.
Okay.
This feels like things she's had to deal with before. And so she thinks back. My name is Saza, and I assume what you're asking is why am I not leaving it alone? This is putting a bad reputation out on my business. So I would like it to be known it is not me.
That is acceptable. Don't dig too deep into secrets you're not meant to know. But we'll all be relieved when we figure out who murdered Peter Hooper.
And you feel that connection snap.
Well, and then she just thinks, well, then don't have people blame my tavern. And she walks out.
Kingsdale.
So as Kingsdale left, he saw, like you said, that there were some claw marks, leading into it. He wants to find one, on a rail or something, and run his finger over it and wait until he feels it hit a nail and see if the claw was able to scratch a metal nail or whether it skipped over the nail and kept digging through the wood.
Looking through this, you see claw marks all around. It takes you a little bit to find one that hits a nail, but you can see very clearly an indent on the nail from these claw marks.
Kingsdale keeps going. He reaches into his jacket and snaps a silver arrowhead off of his crossbow and just kind of tucks it into his palm and goes looking for a shift, getting off work or people sitting around eating, something like that.
Yeah, you can find that easily enough. You might have to wait around a little bit, but not horribly long. There's people milling about you can talk to.
Sure, so Kingsdale's going to go up to a group of them and just go, "Oh, good afternoon, friends. My name is Clay Boone, and I understand that recently you had a death or disappearance of perhaps one of your supervisors, and it has been brought to my attention that I will be replacing him. Now, I'm a man that seeks to ingratiate himself to those he works with, a man who seeks to make friends rather than enemies, and someone who I can guarantee has your best interest at heart, and I simply wish to say hello." And he holds out his hand that has that arrow, tucked beneath his between his fingers, and goes to shake someone's hand. And he makes a show of it. He shakes everybody's hand.
Make me a mislead, distract, or trick.
Ooh, that is 7.
Wouldn't
Cool.
that cut everybody's hands?
I think he's palming it pretty hard, I think.
Barely any of it would be showing through. If it's a pretty small arrowhead, it would just be enough that silver would touch their skin, or he could hold the flat side of it to their hand,
Okay.
So I'm going to say this is creating an opportunity to do this, and you expose a weakness or flaw.
What I'm trying to deduce here, by the way, Zach, if you haven't put 2 and 2 together, is Kingsdale still does not think this was a werewolf, but he wants to know if there are werewolves working here.
Okay, yeah.
Silver being something that would hurt them if it touched their skin.
So you do this, you go around. Well, Mr. Boone, it's nice to meet you. My name's Franklin. I'm just kidding. My name's Fred. My friends call me Fred. F-Dog if I'm winning. Poker. You good poker, Mr. Boone?
I am, but it would be unfair for us to play together. Being that I am in management, it might be seen as inappropriate for me to take your money from you.
I'd like to see you try, Mr. Boone.
I am a good dealer and could always facilitate a game. Oh, I would never dream of it. I would never put myself in a position to rob you. It would be inappropriate. Does anyone react as I go around and shake hands with everybody?
No one does. So the answer to that, it's not that it was a bad question, it's that the answer is no.
No, that's fine. Kingsdale expected the answer to be no because he doesn't think a werewolf did this. Now, what I understand is that my predecessor was not well liked. Not that I suspect any of you of doing anything dangerous to him. However, I am curious what I might be able to do to alleviate the pain that you have felt up to this moment.
Are we gonna have smaller quotas?
Certainly. Why would it's an investment of time. I want you to be able to work long for your entire life, not simply drop dead meeting impossible quotas.
Someone should have told that to Mr. Hooper.
I agree, but now we cannot, but we can set things to right. Now, what else?
I've heard there's an oracle in town who can maybe talk to ghosts. We could give him a big, mean old message down in the hills, because I'm sure that's where he's resided now.
I am sure, for a pretty penny, she would be certainly able to communicate that to him and make it hit him right in his soul with the guilt he should feel for the abuse that all of you suffered.
I think I like you, Mr. Boone.
All of you should individually do that.
I did hear that she helped Mr. Jefferson with some stuff. He didn't go out gambling one day, and his poker buddy lost a lot of money, so, saved him a fortune.
Exactly. Now, what else, though, from your old boss might you wish corrected?
Can we have more days off?
I see no reason why you should not work more than 3 days a week.
These poor guys. Miss Boone, I think will that be a dock on our pay, or will we be getting the same wages?
No, your wage will be based on, if you're here, you're part of the family, you will be paid the same amount. Now, I do have one final question for all of you. My cabin is in a great deal of disrepair. Now, I assume that was not done by any of you, but I would like to speak to whoever. I don't believe you guys yet knew that it was my cabin, but it is now, and it's been wrecked. And I'm just curious if any of you saw an unscrupulous type hanging around, someone who might have been wanting to make their voice heard about how they should be treated at work.
I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Boone. I wish it was me, and I wish I could give the fella who did it a nice old $1, but we don't know.
Me too.
We don't know who it is, and we're sorry that you got to clean up Mr. Hooper's mess. It looks like he decided to screw over one more person before he, went to that deep pit in the ground.
Well, that might be the case. And, I've taken enough of your time. You should all start that schedule that we discussed right away. Kingsdale's gonna stand up and just say, and if anyone asks about you, just say it was Clay Boone, the new supervisor that told you to do that. Anyways, you guys have a great evening. I gotta get out of here. I gotta clean up my new home. Kingsdale's gonna walk back.
You hear them talking, the company sure does work fast, doesn't it, fellas? You're a monster. You're an absolute monster.
But he does have M's back.
Maybe after they figure out he was a charlatan, will they go to M?
I assume they're just gonna blame the mining company more. They're like, they heard he was making good changes and they got rid of him right away.
I like that a lot, actually. You can have that one. You made the roll. You didn't fail it,
I nearly did. This one in mind is really saving me from a lot of 6s. So the plan now, just for my own clarity, is me and Saz are going to go back down the mountain, and M is going to stay up here and talk to Sarah.
Yes.
Kingsdale would like to talk to M before they leave. I guess I could just do that, huh? I don't really have to, state it.
Yeah, I imagine Kingsdale, comes back to the house where Saza and M are.
Yeah.
Do you want Saza not there?
No, that's honestly fine. I would like to see if there is is there a map of, how this freaking book nerd found flowers in the heart of Fae country? Because that doesn't make a lick of sense.
There's a little diagram on one of the pages of a map of the forest.
In the journal.
In the journal, yes. Sorry. Wrong thing.
I just freaking, how could he have possibly done, I am confused how he could have done this. Anyways, doesn't matter. So, before we leave, Kingsdale's gonna go up to Em.
Here's the thing. You might be missing some information because the whole building was turned upside down, and if there was like a really nice map that he had...
Oh, I get it. That probably would have been taken. No, it's just there's a question in my head of how he pulled this off, being that everything about him is this guy was a giant pain-in-the-neck nerd. Anyways, Kingsdale's gonna go up to Em. Are you intending upon staying here by yourself to speak to Sarah?
I was planning on it since you and Saz are heading back to the tavern. But I'll head back before, when I'm done. I won't plan on staying overnight here.
No, I understand. In fact, you definitely should not. But I think you should take this with you, and Kingsdale's gonna hand her his gun. I would give you the silver crossbow, but I do not believe you are dealing with a werewolf. It did not have bone claws, whatever tore up this house, and to my knowledge, werewolves are incapable of making their claws made of iron. So, something is up here that is killing people, and you're sticking your nose where it probably does not belong. So, be careful. It's loaded, and it's cocked, so if you don't pull the trigger unless you mean to, point it at the thing.
I got it. You shouldn't have, but she, holsters it anyway in her waistband.
Well, I have Saza to keep me safe and the good lady Begonia, and you are by yourself on the top of a mountain with a known killer, so I definitely should. In fact, I'm nervous for you being here by yourself.
I'll be fine, Kingsdale. I mean, Mr. Franklin.
You see a miner walk by? You mean Mr. Boone?
I was going to say, well, up here, actually, I am known as Mr. Boone, and also, just for the record, I may have implied that you are capable of delivering vengeful messages to dead people, so just bear that in mind for your business in the future.
I can certainly add that to my list of skills.
For a corruption point, you can.
Wonderful. You may use the proceeds to buy me another drink. And Kingsdale leaves. As he's going, leans back in. You owe me! And, goes out the door.
So you want to mark that corruption now or later, Caitlin?
Later, thank you.
We start lying to these people about sending spiteful messages to Peter Hooper.
You can just say you can't actually do it and that, add it to the list of lies of Clay Boone.
I'm just waiting for one of the miners to come down you're Clay Boone into the Quiver Sand.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
I have a twin.
My name is Day Boone. My parents were not creative.
No, my name in town is Franklin.
You got your town name and your mining town name.
All right. Kingsdale and Salza start making their way back home while M stops in to talk with Sarah. You already have advanced in Mortalis, correct, Kayla? Yeah, you have.
Yes.
Cool. What you about? You walk in, Sarah seems her busy self. Oh, M, do you have an answer to my conundrum? I guess I could say murder. I guess everyone knows about it now. I heard about the mob outside of a brothel earlier today, so I think everyone knows now.
Fairly certain, yes, it's common knowledge. I was actually just gonna come buy you a drink, see if we can chat.
I appreciate the gesture, but I don't want to drink what the miners have. I think it will make you blind, if not outright kill you. I don't think they know how to make gin. They say they make gin.
I can't imagine they do. M will pull out a flask and ask if she has, glasses.
How about I just use my own flask? Also, I like you well enough, M. Stay on that side of the table and do not touch me.
I'll stay right here. She holds up her hands. So
she raises her glass to not touching each other.
Right. Sarah, we've gone down quite a few leads now, and I have to wonder if there's anything else you can tell me about this whole case. Maybe starting with why you didn't go to the sheriff?
You mean the person who's overworked and believes in the law above all else? To the letter? She'd give a speeding ticket to a mule.
It just seems like in a murder investigation, she might be worth talking to.
Make me a persuade check.
Heart, goody. That's a 2.
Of all people, I think you should know people have reasons for not involving the law. I'm sure that you're not in desperation because everything was easily resolved by calling a sheriff where you were from last.
That's fair. I just wanted to know in this case what else might be going on.
I understand that, and I've asked you to solve the mystery without knowing that. But let me tell you, had the sheriff been an option, I would have considered it.
What can you tell me about Peter's relationship with the rest of the mining company? Joseph, Eugene, Virginia?
Give me a figure someone out check. We're going to play it a little bit looser than the questions they give.
Okay. 7.
Cool. So
I get to ask 2 and she asks me 1.
You get to ask 3 because you're in the same circle.
Aha.
No, you're not. Wait,
No.
your wilds are your power.
I'm power.
So you get to ask you get to ask 3 questions. She gets to ask 1 to you.
Okay.
So you guys, before you ask these questions, you spend some time small talking. Not getting drunk, but getting letting liquor loosen your tongues a little bit. Peter was a bootlicker. He wanted to be important, so he did everything he could to be the best manager they had.
Do I get to ask questions?
Yes.
So, okay.
That was one of them. You can ask. You don't have to ask specifically from that list.
Okay. And I can be asking stuff about Peter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted some role to see how cagey she was. And you can let the list guide you if you want, but you can also ask other things about him.
Okay. I'm going to do, who's pulling Peter's strings. All right, but he can't have been that upstanding. He had to be in debt to somebody.
You would think, and I want to believe he was more than a one-dimensional piece of paper, but the man had nothing going on. He was dedicated to the cause. You've heard of true believers? He makes them look like hacks.
No vices, nobody else in his life.
He was I think his vices were more the vices of being a jerk to everyone and grinding them into dust. He had the best numbers, but also, the worst numbers of miners lost, if you know what I mean.
So he was working people to death.
Literally, yes.
Well, what about you? You think you'd take his place ever?
Oh, goodness, no, I don't want to deal with the miners, no. That balancing act of, getting them to do as much as we can without killing them seems like an absolute nightmare.
Anybody gunning for that position?
This speaks volumes, even if I come up with an answer now. There are some people, but I think operationally we're just going to kind of meld that group of miners into some other groups. We've had some losses recently, and the last train that came into town didn't give us as many miners as we were hoping, so I think they're just going to try to redistribute the shifts some, so no one's really getting a promotion from this.
All right. So besides all the people working under him, he didn't have a feud with anyone?
Not that I could have told you, not that I know of, and I have an ear to the ground for these things. He was honestly a very boring fellow. He was one of those people who eats the same meal every day by choice.
Variety was too spicy for him. I got it.
He would make the same bean-rice mixture every day. I know how much he made. I don't know what he did with the money. Note, that is not saying find the money. That was saying he was a boring guy.
Yeah. You haven't had any... leaving aside Peter and his boring habits for the moment, you didn't have any odd occurrences, weird sightings of someone, I don't know, Saturday, maybe Sunday?
Not that I saw, but, I was not looking for it.
And Peter didn't complain of his house being ransacked?
Nope. I think that was, wait, his house was ransacked?
It looks like it. Big scratches on his door.
Oh my, okay. Okay. Have you investigated the werewolves yet?
No. What's going on with the werewolves?
I mean, they don't like the Plateau Mining Corporation the Prosperity Plateau Mining Corporation in any way. They claim that we stole their land from them and have gotten violent in the past.
What have they done?
They have collapsed mines on us. They have attacked miners. We thought we were coming to a peace accord with them, but then a new leader took over and things have been getting worse. So I would investigate them. Did you see claw marks in the body? You saw the claw marks in the body, right?
Yes.
And you didn't go for the obvious, it's the werewolves?
I've been doing things in town first. I figured...
Are you one of those psychics where I could throw something at you and say, I bet you didn't see that coming, and it would hit you right in the face?
I don't suggest you try it.
That sounds like... How much of a hack are you?
I'm not a hack, Sarah.
I'm just saying there's an obvious trail you could be following, and you didn't go for it.
Is there something else you know about it?
No, I just
so
figured
obvious?
You'd go for the werewolves. I don't want to deal with werewolves. I could get eviscerated by werewolves. You're not working for me, so they're not going to eviscerate you on sight.
So if it was so obvious, why didn't you say something to begin with?
I'm sorry, would you like me to point out the sky's blue as well, or that we have 3 moons? The sun rises every morning? The werewolves attacked a guy?
I'm just surprised that you left it out initially.
I'm just saying, if you can't put 1 and 1 together, maybe I don't want you doing the ledgers, even if you solve this mystery?
All right, I don't have to be on this, but I think you came to me for a reason, and if you trust me, you'll let me do this my own way.
I don't think I have better options right now, so cheers!
Did she ask a question of me as well? I feel like I asked my two.
I don't know if she did ask a question of you. She asked if you're a hack, but I don't know if that counts.
That was more rhetorical.
So what's your story, though, Em? Who's pulling your strings?
Who's pulling my strings? Well, no one. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. That's kind of the point.
No one is out here because no one's pulling their strings.
That's the point of being here, isn't it? And not somewhere else?
There are 2 types of people in this world. There are those who act and those who are acted upon. And I count myself in this group with you, so do not feel offended. Everyone here is the latter. We are all acted upon people. We don't come out here because no one's pulling our strings and we think it's going to be a good time. And just because if you're running from someone or something, or someplace, I guess? I don't know. I thought I had something. I have had too much of this whiskey. That's still someone pulling your strings. Just because you don't want them to be the motivating factor doesn't mean they aren't.
Well, I think you can turn something like that into your own life.
Well, if it works for you, let me know.
I certainly will.
Em heads out as dusk is starting to fall. Like the beginnings of dusk, not late. Saza and Kingsdale. What you about back at the tavern? Unless you guys wanted to have a scene on the way back.
I don't know. Mandy, is there anything you specifically wanted to talk about aside from furniture?
Not without all of us.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty. So what are you guys doing while you are back in town?
I need to look. Is this a circle move or no?
This would be circle move time. Kaylin, I'm going to say, you can mark power for it. I know it's not exactly what they say to do, but I feel like, you had a more in-depth conversation with someone and gave and took more,
Okay, circle move, not basic move.
Yes, it's something that takes more time, And if there's something that doesn't quite fit, let me know and we can house rule some stuff, you know?
Yeah, so I'm right now I'm looking at put a name to a face. That one seems the most gossip related. On a hit, when you put a name to a face, roll with their circle. On a hit, you know their reputation. The MC will tell you what most people know about them. On a 10+, you've dealt with them before, learned something interesting or useful about them, or they owe you a debt. Your choice. And on a miss, you don't know them or owe them MC's choice. So I would like to do that. I feel like I have everything that I wanted to learn about Peter Hooper, but I mentioned before that I want to do it I specifically want to know what people are talking about with the murder.
Let's do power for that still, since it's still that circle you're trying to learn about.
Doesn't matter. I don't roll with any extra with that.
Yes. And mark off power on your level up chart if you have not already.
Okay, so I hit it with an 8.
Kingsdale, what are you doing?
This is weird, so you can tell me if this is okay. He's doing a similar trick that he did before, where what he wants to do is try to suss a werewolf without being really obvious about it. And the way he does that's real simple. At his poker table tonight, while he's dealing poker, he's using silver dollars instead of chips. And he's waiting to see if someone, or he's like occasionally throwing one out to somebody, and he's waiting to see if someone like pulls their hand back when they catch a coin. And then I want to put a name to a face. And basically what I'm trying to do is I want to get an introduction for the werewolves, right? So if I find a werewolf, I want to be like, hey, we need to talk. Like, I'm on your side here. You know what I mean? But we need to have a conversation because you're about to get a lot of stuff thrown in your face.
Okay.
So that would be night, correct?
Yes, that would be night.
Which is a 0 for me. Woo! That's a 7. So on a 7 to 9, I do learn about someone's reputation.
Okay. Saza, as you have your employees, you use them to gain information and keep an ear out, the rotating through different people and bartending and all that. You get a general sense of what the town is viewing about the murder. There's a lot of apathy toward, there's the apathy of, we don't care, or we're pretending not to care due to it being not involved with here, it wasn't anyone in town proper. Additionally, there's the thing that M learned, double confirming that, is no one really knows who this guy is in town. He was not someone who came and spent time down here. So they're like, oh, someone from the mining guild died. And people are like, who? And they're say a name. It's never heard of him.
Do I get anything about any, theories? Because that sounds like something people could be talking about over drinks.
Let me roll something. You don't get any, good theories. What you do get, though, is a lot of bad theories about, you, but, bad to the point of being laughably bad, where it's you're a demon. You know how to spread a rumor. And it's just you don't want to be the person known for spreading the rumor. And everyone starts their conversation with, well, I heard of the gold dust. Saza has something to do with it. And then they'll be like, well, what did Saza have to do with it? And they're like, I don't know. It reeks of inexperience in a way. You're like, oh, the gold dust has never had any competition, and they're scared. Kingsdale, you are doing your card dealing throughout the night, and it's going through, and you're rotating through. There's some new clients and stuff. And as you're going through, you are sliding your chips around when you see a burlier man sit down. He's not clean-shaven, very full beard, thick brown hair.
Do you just want to say, assume werewolf? A straight-up werewolf sits down.
Sits down. I mean, you get what you want. And as he touches the coin, his hand reels back, and you make eye contact with him.
At the table, Kingsdale wouldn't say anything. He would just go, can I maybe say that either by bad luck or by Kingsdale kind of being a little bit sharky with the cards, that he's has a bad night? And so as the night winds down, Kingsdale's just why don't you stay for a minute after and we can speak about settling up your debts that you might owe?
I think we could do that.
Wonderful.
Presuming you don't have any more, shall we say, gilded coins up your sleeve.
I do not have more coins, no. Follow me, and Kingsdale, gestures down to, his basement.
I'll have you know, people know where I am, as he follows you down these steps into your unfurnished basement.
It's a secondary location.
And that's where we'll stop. Hey Wanderers, thanks for listening to our campaign Desperation. As always, you can follow us on our socials, and if you like what you hear, leave us a review on your podcast app of choice, and tell a friend about the show. We hope you've enjoyed your time in Desperation. Just because it's the end of the line, doesn't mean you don't have options.